Thanks. That's all for today.
Thanks, 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 that's all for today.
Thank you, that's all for today.
Thanks, that's all for today.
Thanks, that's all for today.
Thanks, that's all for today.
Hello and welcome back to Thanks, That's All for Today, a podcast hosted by me, Harriette Mullen. I hope you enjoyed episodes 1, 2 and 3 so far, where we've been discussing all things audition related, including nearly kissing a casting director. I'm not kidding. This week I have another very special guest, an incredibly talented and gorgeous West End star, whose credits include Kinky Boots' original cast, White Christmas and Hairspray. I've admired this next guest for a very long time and I am so excited to have her on the podcast. So without further ado, here's episode 4 with my guest with the best hair I've ever seen. It's Blue.
And we're recording.
Da-da-da.
Oh, just bang my elbow, bang the other one, make a wish. I got the sparkles for you. Do you like?
Yes, I'd already noticed the fringing. I just love the fringe.
For anyone listening, obviously you can't see us, but I have gone for a full on like kind of, I feel like it's like Joe Exotic meets loungewear. If he brought out loungewear, this is what he would wear. It's full on fringing with sequins, but I thought that you would approve of the sequins.
No,
we love a sequin.
Are my two favourite things, and I'm actually still not over. I had these incredible pair of fringed cowboy boots from Zara years ago, and I gave them to charity, and I've never got over it. Like, I'm still
never forgiven yourself.
No, I've never forgiven myself because they just were incredible, and I don't know why I gave them away. At one point I must have had like a crazy day where I was like, no, fringing is so not me anymore.
It's never coming back in. No. Oh, I hate when that happens. Last year when I was away for like the whole of the summer doing shows. Do you remember shows? Do you remember theatre?
This story is amazing. You remember you telling me this when we was in Wales?
Oh no, I think I've told everybody, but for anyone that doesn't know, all of my winter wardrobe got given to charity by my lovely mum, who thought it was charity. So if you are in Cheltenham and you're walking around with anything tartan, houndstooth, or like fluffy jumpers, and I see you, I'm going to be very angry. So thanks, Trish. Okay, so I've got to introduce you, my fabulous bombshell beauty with the best hair I've ever seen in my life. West End actress, contestant on this year's The Voice. Now, I have to say your intro is I'm going to try and do it in one breath. Okay. I did some research. If this is not true, please forgive me. I could just make it up, couldn't I? I don't need to. Extensive career. Star of Kinky Boots, original cast, White Christmas, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, Lizzie, Knights of a Rose, Hairspray, South Pacific, and Oh What a Lovely War.
Yes.
Is that all true?
It's all true.
Fabulous. You've done so much and so many varied shows. I mean, the difference between like South Pacific, Hairspray, Lizzie and Kinky Boots, just such a vast range. Do you have any like particular favourite genre of musical, or do you like that you're super flexible?
God, well, I'm actually not flexible in the actual terms of being flexible.
I've seen you in a dance call. In fact, I have to say, Blue, the last time we were in a dance call together, we were in the same group. And I think I walked just over to you and smacked you on the bum and then got into position.
Oh my gosh. I do dance, but I just don't feel as bendy as I used to be in my 20s. No, but I love any show. I'm really happy to work in any show, and it's really nice that you've said that I've done so much, because I actually feel like I've, this past horrible year and the year before, I felt like I've not done anything. But I think I love good music, so I love a show.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we have similar music taste as well, so I do love a good show with a good like pop soul score. Like, I love Priscilla, and you just can't help but enjoy that music.
Oh, definitely. And you gig a lot as well, don't you? Obviously, bringing us on to how we met. I remember doing an audition for Portia for the Queens of the Night. It's a corporate package that you can hire, and it's 3 singers, and they're dressed like the queens from the divas, the queens, the divas from Priscilla. and then the recall was like a harmony workshop, and you and Amy came in, I believe.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, oh my gosh, they've actually been the divas. Oh my God. And then I ended up getting it. And then we ended up doing a gig together in beautiful Portmeirion in Wales. We were in our absolute element.
It's so fun. And I remember you from the audition, but I remember at that gig, and it was sound check, and you started singing. I was like, okay, this girl can really sing next to me. Like, I was just loving your sound check so much. And we had Hannah doing it as well. And those gigs are great because they just put together 3 girls that can like have a real good sing.
Oh, we had a great time. I felt like that beforehand, and in soundcheck I was like, oh my God, Hannah and Blue. And I knew of you girls beforehand. I thought, oh my gosh, I've got to go and sing with them. And Portia and Steve were like, yes, if you do like learn the backing vocals for their songs. And I was like, oh God, I do backing vocals for their songs. It was just brilliant.
But no, I love singing them. So when I've been casting a few like sort of legit shows, I get a bit, I kind of head to those auditions thinking, well, I'm not going to get this because this is not where I fit in at all. But so it has been a surprise when they've come through and they've worked out well. And I've completely enjoyed them. I've enjoyed every job. I feel like just immensely lucky.
Yeah.
Like we all do, we just love the job, which is why we miss it so much.
I know, it's awful.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, because you have obviously done so much, do you get used to the call, like, oh, we've got a part for you, you're in the show? Are you ever used to that, or is it still like as exciting as it was maybe for your first job?
Yeah, no, I've definitely not got used to it, and I've not got used to auditioning and being nervous and beating myself up about things, and then just the classic thing, like you rehearse your audition song at home in the bathroom, or do your script at home, and it goes so well.
Acoustics in the bathroom.
Yeah. And then you go to the room and it just doesn't come out like you wanted it to, and then you beat yourself up. And I always think, God, like you've been doing this like, I don't know, 11, 12 years. Come on, Blue, like you should when it gets to a new like year of auditions, I'm always like, right, first of all, I was like, right, be cool, because I always go in and I'm not cool. Like, I want to go in and be like really reserved and really like, professional, and I totally understand the character, and be really like serious. And I go in, I'm like, hi. Like I had an audition actually last week, and I was like, someone mentioned about my dress. I was like, yeah, I got it in the sale. It was reduced from 12 to 7. And I'm thinking, shut up, Blue. Like,
no, but I think that's brilliant, because I think that isn't like, knowing you and having worked with you and met you, you are so bubbly and you're so lovely. And I reckon I could be in a really bad mood. And if I spoke to you, I would be so happy. I mean, the morning after that gig, I woke up to the sound of Radio. Was it Radio 2 that you had on?
Oh yeah, because I'm Radio 2 obsessed.
You had Radio 2 on. She's singing morning, came in the room, and it was great. But that is you, and I think that's what people will really like love about you in an audition, is you and your personality. You had like ray of sunshine, so I think that would work in your favor. Well,
hopefully, but I haven't got used to it, not this year, but all of last year, and about the last year and a half, I had a full year and a half of complete no's constantly.
Wow.
And I know that people go through that all the time.
Yeah.
But it's before I went on The Voice.
This is The Voice.
It was just I just was in a run of no's, getting close to things, but just getting no's. So I'm absolutely not like used to yeses at all. So, but it's okay. It's just one of those things.
Here's a question I'd like to know the answer to. Would you prefer a no at a first round or a no at a final?
I suppose I'd prefer to keep going until the final, because you do know that if you have got to the end, like, that they really like you and you're doing a good job. Like I actually sat on the panel for Priscilla for the second year of the tour. I didn't have an opinion. I was just there to read in, but I got to see the whole audition process, and it was so eye-opening to watch it. And it was Debbie O'Brien, who I just love, and I just have to thank Debbie O'Brien for a lot of my career, because she's cast me in like a lot of the jobs that I've done thanks to her.
Amazing.
And she's so lovely. I love her. But to sit and watch it work out on that final day, and everyone comes in and everyone's so great. And to watch the final sort of when there's, got everyone's headshots and around the table and moving them. And I watched a guy go from like the most incredible track in the show to suddenly by the end of the moving around and stuff, he didn't get the job. And for like 10 minutes of that conversation, he was this great, like it would have been a great thing for him. But just the way it worked around in terms of covering or in terms of like so many different factors, he then didn't have it. But at the beginning, he was the first choice for that.
Wow.
Yeah. So after seeing that, I was like, you can be so close. And there's been jobs before that I found out that I might have been, I was quite like really like on the table for a long time. But then things work around and it's like there's the tiniest things that you can't even think of would change it and suddenly you're off the table. So I think if you're getting towards the end, you just gotta really think I did a really great job to get that far.
Yeah, definitely, because getting to the final and then not getting it, you think, oh my gosh, I've given up so much time, I've learned it, I feel like I've really connected with panel and the creative team, I've invested in it, I've started thinking about where the venues are. And you get so caught up, and the more rounds you do, the more people, for me, the more people I tell, and I like look at the dates on my phone or whatever.
Oh my God, yeah, I think everyone does that. We can't help it. And then to not get it, sometimes I feel like it's so heartbreaking that it's like, well, I wish they'd just told me in the first round. But then again, that's true about, the further you get, because it could mean that, you then skip a few rounds for another show or something. Exactly. And no audition is a wasted time. Just to have those 3 minutes in front of a panel. I mean, there's thousands of people that would just love to have those 3 minutes that can't even get in the room. So I don't think any audition is no audition is a waste of your time. And you're also practicing your skill. Like you're getting to, I mean, I know it's heartbreaking, but sometimes like, okay, guys, we are actually just going in a room and singing and acting for 3 minutes, and your emotions do go up and down. But I always I sort of give myself a day. I'm like, right, I'm going to be a bit gutted about this for a day, and then I'll be over it tomorrow, and I'm going to buy a pair of shoes online and make myself feel better. And then tomorrow I'll be, because all that happens, you're upset until your agent rings with the next audition, like, oh, well, maybe I'll do this one instead. And the whole of last year I could have said, well, this was meant to be because of this. Like after I was like, okay, maybe this is not meant to be because
I also see things as like a sign. So if I'm going to an audition and then I see a flyer for a show, I'm like,
oh my goodness, yeah,
it's a sign. But actually, no, I'm just in Soho, and that's where most of the theatres are.
I know. I once went up the escalators at the Tube, and it was just so happened that like each show poster had been like I just got a no from like in a row, and I was thinking maybe I'll just like lean back and just like this is my way to go to the top of this escalator because this is killing me.
Oh my gosh! I know it's everywhere in London. Obviously, when you're auditioning, it's like here, there, and everywhere. Especially if you have to audition in the theatre where the show is. I remember doing an audition where Hamilton was and thinking, oh my God, I'm in the room where it happens. Maybe I should just like find my way into a dressing room. On that note, do you prefer to audition in the actual theatre, like with Mamma Mia, it's on the Novello stage, or do you like that it's completely separate and in a completely different venue?
The only time I've ever auditioned in the theatre, apart from in the Hamilton Theatre, but that wasn't for Hamilton, that was for Six in a different room. But years ago, when We Were Rock You was here, I had 3 years in a row of auditioning for that, and that was on the stage. At the final, we used to be on the stage. Wow. Which was amazing to sing. I was singing No One But You, and you're like in the Dominion, which was amazing. But at the same time, it was terrible acoustics with no mic.
I feel the same. I actually think one of my favourite venues to sing in is very randomly Hartley Hall in Mill Hill. I don't know if you've ever sang there.
I've not done there.
But there's this room that they use for auditions and the acoustics are amazing. Like sometimes you'll go in a room and it's like, oh no, carpet everywhere. How am I going to do
oh
this?
My goodness. Yeah.
But,
you auditioned for Brooklyn?
No.
They did Brooklyn and my lovely friend Adam Haig was directing it, and we had to sing, what's the big Brooklyn song? Once Upon a Time.
Yes.
Which is like
Spotify.
Just, a ridiculous sing. I'm not even joking. The carpet was halfway up the walls.
Oh my God.
One of those old-fashioned rooms where, I mean, it could be more carpeted. And I was like, oh my God, I need help with this song. times.
I need a head mic. Oh my gosh.
It was like the deadest sound ever, just screaming once upon a time. But anyway, didn't get that one.
Blame it on the carpet. Blame it on the carpet. So are you missing the buzz from auditions at the moment? Or, I mean, obviously it's picking up a little bit more and there's been self-tapes, but that kind of like London hustle, very busy, auditions here, auditions there. Are you missing that?
Yeah, I love being busy. I'm not a very good person. I'm just not good at relaxing or chilling. I get myself all in a weird headspace. I just love being busy.
Yeah.
But I actually, so I had an audition last week and it was just the first one. And I got so excited for it. Up early and getting myself pretty and putting my dress on. And I was so giddy and so up for it. And I had this like real raring to go attitude. And I was like, yeah, come on, let's do this. Like, yeah, we're back. And I don't know what happened in the room, but when I say my dress was sodden in sweat,
Oh
like,
my God.
like, I don't know what happened. I came out, I leant over my bag to like pick up something and there was like beads of sweat just like dripping on the floor. All I'd done was sing like 90 seconds of a song and like 7 lines from a bit of script. And I just went to like just a pool of sweat. I was so excited that
Oh my God, that's so cute.
Just went mental and I was like, and yeah, didn't get that one.
Oh my God, bless you. So it was like, do you think it was just the excitement was just over, you just overcame with excitement? I couldn't speak there. I was so excited to talk about your
And no,
audition.
I got really overwhelmed and I'd like made far too many COVID jokes. I was like, chill out with the jokes. Because this is what happens. Like I just make silly, I fill silences. If a panel is awkward and silent, that's my worst nightmare because I just keep filling. It's like really bad dating, you know, like.
Oh my God, that's such a good description.
You know, you're on a date and you just like, they're not talking or they're yawning. You just keep going to compensate for it.
Yes. Do you know what? Funnily enough, I actually did an audition where I confessed that I love ASMR. I don't know if you've listened to ASMR, but it's basically, it's this kind of genre on YouTube where they tap and they like fold things and I don't like the whispering, but they'll like do guided meditation.
Yeah.
Oh well, I just started confessing, but by the way, I listened to 100 facts about this show in ASMR, and they were like all looking at each other like, what's ASMR? Started explaining it, going into how like I need help with my sleep.
Oh my God.
Like, right, I was like, yeah, it's because I had epilepsy when I was younger, and it was epilepsy. Well, it was when I was asleep it would happen, and they were all like, literally, you've only got about 3 minutes in the audition. I spent about 15 minutes pulling up a chair. Well, it was when I was 5, you see, it started then, and they went, oh my gosh, I wouldn't stop talking about it anyway. So yeah,
that's what it's like. It's just
like oversharing. It's like, why? And I also have the habit of going, oh, I didn't mean to do that. If I've like sung something, I'm like, I didn't do that very well, did I? Like, oh, shut up.
Yeah, I'll do something like, oh, that was flat at the end, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think we should audition together. So you've been busy though. You've been learning the piano. I've been
learning the piano. I'm obsessed. I've just currently mastered Stand By Your Man, Tammy Wynette.
Oh, amazing. Is it something are you going to be like an acting muso now, Blue? Are you going to take this forward?
No, well, I actually...
You could.
No, I cannot like play solo, but I can definitely... Well, I'm good with all my chords now. My chords like...
Fabulous.
So I could do like tinkle in and out.
Have you done any duets with your mum? Because we've got to mention your mum. She's just, you two are just fabulous. Because your mum's a performer too, isn't she?
Yeah, my mum and my dad. Well,
Both
they both work on cruise ships as singers, but they're both at home now.
Of course.
My mum's starting Morrison's, bless her, next week.
Oh, bless her. Good for her.
I know. And my dad's starting... He's doing a delivery van thing, I think starts next week. So their lives have completely changed. The whole family is a bit all...
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, because I know when we spoke at Christmas that both your parents are in the industry, which I just think is so cool. Your mum had like flown back from somewhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's it. I was trying to sort her an Uber off. Yeah, that's the one.
And I just think that's amazing. Is that what inspired you to be a performer? Do you think from your parents and their industry, or was it something they wanted you to do?
Do you know what? It was never ever a conversation. I just think that, well, you'll understand, and a lot of performers out there, I just love it. I just love it not more than anything, but it's just, I'd never want to do anything else. I just love performing, and I don't know whether, I was obviously in my mum's belly when she was performing, so maybe I heard it, even in the womb, but I came out and I was surrounded by it because my mum and dad were, they got their own cabaret show, so they were like traveling all around the world.
Amazing.
So I was just sort of with them and just surrounded by show business and dancers and feathers and sequins, and but I loved it. I never was, well, I think as a kid I used to say I wanted to be a vet.
But cute. I was going to ask you what you thought you'd be doing if you weren't a performer. I think I should have done sciences at A level, which I didn't, but anyway. But I think if I didn't have this love for what I do, then I think it would have been something to do with animals. It would have been amazing.
So yeah, I think a vet would have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
But no, I just always knew there was just never an option that I was filling out applications for like Lane Theatre Arts since I was about 12, for like 6 years.
Bless you, because you went to Lane, didn't you?
Yeah.
So you were there for the 3 years?
Yeah, I was there from 18 to 21.
Amazing. And how was that? Like, how was your audition experience? Did you audition for loads of drama schools, or did you just know Lane is where I want to go?
So I auditioned for, I always wanted to go to Lane's, but then I auditioned for Arts Ed as well. So I auditioned for a few, like Italia Conti, Lane, Bird, and Arts Ed and Lane's. Yeah. And after going to Arts Ed for the day of auditions, I was like, oh, this is where I'm meant to be. I just loved it. I loved Chiswick. I loved the building.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I want to go here. But I didn't get offered a place at all. Right. So I remember getting the letter in bed at home in like my little bedroom, and like reading the letter in bed and like crying under my duvet. I was like, no.
Oh, it's awful, isn't it? It's probably the hardest group of auditions you'll ever have to do, because it's
when it's your like first entry into the world of like loads of rejection.
Funnily enough, when I went to the Arts Ed audition when I was 17, it was the first one ever, and I fully went out with like, the skirt, the leggings, because I just went full out like pink, purple, flowery, cut first round, didn't even make it past 12 o'clock.
Yeah, I know, they're pretty brutal. They are brutal there. I think I remember them telling me off about my monologue or something. Yeah,
my skirt got taken off me because apparently it was distracting. So
really,
not my skirt, I should probably mention. Wow. I mean a ballet skirt that's tied around leggings.
Take it off, please, Harriette.
Yeah. And a leotard, not like my actual outfit for the day. Just take your skirt off.
But no, I was really gutted. And then after that I went to my Lane audition, and I was really fortunate because I knew I couldn't go without a scholarship. And because my dad had made it very clear. My dad's very tough. And he was like, if you haven't got a scholarship, you ain't going, you're not good enough, and all this like blooming like hard talk, which is not true at all. But I just knew like it wasn't an option. So, but I went to Lane's and they were really, really kind, and they offered me a scholarship after the first day. So I was like,
wow, amazing.
Yeah, and I got the letter and I just couldn't believe it. It was like, I've actually had the letter framed. I think I had it up on my old
that's
room.
So lovely. And you've wanted to go there since you were like 12. I think that's so special.
Yeah, I'd always wanted to go there because used to come down to London to watch shows, and I'd see in all the theatre programmes, I'd see a lot of Lane Theatre Arts. And I just like, I just knew I wanted to be in the West End. It was just like my biggest dream. Yeah, it was just my dream, So I was so lucky, and my time at Lane's was, for me, was great. And I know everyone's got real different experiences at the time at colleges, but I was very lucky the whole time. And it's different. It's quite a dance. There's a lot of dancers that go there, and there's there used to be when I went fewer singers. So if you were in sort of the musicals and the shows, I would get featured quite a lot because there was fewer singers to choose from. So I was just very really lucky and fortunate.
That's really interesting. And did you have to audition in your final year for anything, or like for a professional show? I know some people are already auditioning in their third year, or when you first came out as a graduate. Do you remember your first audition?
Yeah, well, I was really fortunate because I got an agent to come to see me in my third year production at Lane. It was actually like not allowed, and I got told off. But there's a guy in the year above me called Liam Tamney, who's in Prince of Egypt right now, and he's a good friend of mine. And he was with this particular agent, and he said this. He was very kind and just said, "This agent, I think you should come see this girl." La, la, la. And he came, and it was all, you know, a little bit naughty, but he wanted to sign me, this agent's called Jörg Betts, and he's like a big, he's very, very successful agent. So I just couldn't turn down the opportunity of signing with him. And I just was so fortunate because Mamma Mia, just the international tour, was just auditioning, and he put me up for it, and I got that. I mean,
amazing. I didn't include that in your notes, Mamma Mia. Amazing.
I had a really warped view of the industry at the beginning because it was not easy, but everything fell into place at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought it was always going to be like that. And I was really, really lucky. I was so lucky that the first like 7-8 years, things fell into place.
Mm-hmm.
And then it has just got harder as I've got old. It has got harder the past recent years. But I think that as well, because I'm getting older, and also I want to do different things. So I wouldn't be accepting every kind of offer. Do you know what I mean? Because you want to kind of progress a little bit in your career, so you can't keep accepting the same things.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with you. You know, there's things that change in your personal life and lifestyle preferences, and
I'm so that happened early as well. I mean, if anyone's like starting off and they're young, you know, just to get all the traveling done. I mean, that was an international tour, and it was incredible. Like that, it's just, international tours are so great. You know, just you're in hotels and you're traveling. You know, it's just brilliant. But now, I'd prefer to stay in one place, and you know, I'm at the age where different things are important now.
Yeah,
like,
definitely. And also every show is like a stepping stone, isn't it, to like the next one. You learn different things on a show that you might not have known you didn't like. Or I mean, how was flying? Did you get to fly as a diva in Priscilla?
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Wow. And how does that work, like as you sing? Because obviously I feel like I ground myself into the floor when I sing. Is it like do you have to reteach yourself how to sing?
You just kind of get used to it. Yeah, you have got stirrups, so you're kind of you are stood up. You're not just like sat in a harness. That there's a harness around your waist, but then you've got like stirrups down your legs, and you sort of cross your legs, and you are stood.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it was brilliant. There was certain theatres that are higher than others. So sometimes when you'd be like up there waiting to come down, if you know you are pretty high. Like Edinburgh, I remember being really high, and I did it in New Zealand, and that theatre was crazy high. So it is that opening, diva opening, coming down to It's Raining Men is one of the best.
Wow, that's just another level of adrenaline.
The team, like the technical team, like we had the same guys with us on the UK tour. That they were just you'd have so many checks, and I just trusted them. They're great at their job. You just trust them. In New Zealand, we did have a little mishap. It was on the news because it was the finale. It was actually one of the best moments of my life. I think it was so. The finale, basically, someone had cued the bus wrong, and the bus started revolving too soon, and it hit one of the divas, and basically it hit her. She was on the perch. There was perches at the end, like these, as we were cockatoos, and the bus hit the perch. And then she started like a pendulum, sort of, building up. She just swinging from side to side.
She didn't fall over. She fell in the harness.
Yeah, and she's like swinging, and like me and Amy Di Bartolomeo, we're like meeting Mr. Right, and then all we can hear is. Poor diva in the middle, and Elia is just like screaming because she's been, and It's funny now because no one was hurt, and but at the time it was probably really scary for Ellie, who's like swinging.
Oh, poor Ellie. Oh my gosh.
Because she's been hit by the bus. But anyway, but it made the news in Australia.
Oh my God.
New Zealand.
Amazing. That I do secretly love when things go wrong, but I don't think I would have been very would have been very happy. I would have been very scared and then probably laughed about it after. Let's play a little game. I'm going to ask you quick fire round. I'm just going to ask you kind of like preferences for auditions, maybe material that you have to bring, or the type of audition. And then you're going to do a monologue. No, I'm joking. And then if you could act I'm going to give you a different intention. No, absolutely not. So let's start with the first one. Group or solo audition?
Solo. Hate the group.
Hate group.
Absolutely hate the group.
Absolutely.
No thanks.
No thanks. No. Legit MT or contemporary pop?
Contemporary pop.
A panel versus one-on-one.
Oh, that's hard. Could I have both? I don't mind that actually. Maybe one-on-one. One-on-one. Yeah. Dance
recall or harmony workshop?
Harmony workshop, because if it's a dance recall, I'm guessing I've already done one dance. If I can get through that, that's enough.
Yeah.
A second round, they might start to notice the bad technique.
No. TV versus theatre audition?
Theatre.
Choose a song yourself versus material to learn?
Material. Hate choosing my own song.
How much pressure is choosing your own song? I swear my whole knowledge of songs just go out the window when I have to choose my own song.
I've pretty much used the same 3 or 4 songs for the past 12 years. I just kind of try to adapt it into a different style.
Amazing.
Probably why I was getting so many no's last year.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I don't really think you should learn a new song for an audition. You want to be really comfortable with it. You want to sing a song that you could sing with your eyes closed and back. You just want to be comfortable.
That's good advice, listeners. 16 bars versus full song?
16 bars. Happy.
Really?
Yeah, I get really bored of myself. In fact, the audition that I did last week, I started and I was thinking midway, I should have done a cut there because I'm already bored of myself. I'm bored.
16 bars, I'm just getting started. I can't ever choose a good 16 bars either, I don't think. Sellotaped sheet music or folder?
Sellotaped.
Sellotape.
Front and back, and a nice fold.
Oh, that's good. That's another good piece of advice. It's a very funny question, but I think people genuinely ask with an audition, do you want it sellotaped or do you want a folder?
Yeah, I'm not sure many people like the folder because sometimes if it's in those plastic wallets, you can get a glare and,
I actually remember handing over sheet music once to a pianist and they actually said to me, "This is hilarious." And I went, no, because I was I didn't really know how to do it. And he was like, "That wasn't a joke. I'm not joking. This is a joke."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." So that was one of my first auditions. So ever since then, I've been really trying to do the most perfect sellotape.
I've handed sheet music in the wrong key over as well. That's my favourite audition story if you want to hear it at some point.
Oh, yes, please. Can I hear it now?
Okay, fine. This is what one of my dinner parties, one of my anecdotes. It was with lovely David Grinrod and Andrew Wright, and it was for Singing in the Rain. And I took in, oh my God, what's the song? Oh yeah, Secret Love. So I thought that would be nice. Once I had a secret love. Anyway, I just printed it off the internet and I didn't test it. And I took in the wrong key.
Oh no.
So sat in the middle, stood in the middle of the room and I start. Once I had a secret had lived within the heart of me, all too soon my secret and the whole song is the same. Became impatient to be free, so I told a friendly star.
Oh no! And they didn't. Did they stop you?
No, they were crying with laughter. They were going to the shoulders. They were just crying with laughter. And we all knew what I'd done. And it was like, I couldn't get out of it. I was just so low. And they were just like, come back next week. You know, they were really kind. They were just, like, thankfully, they were really laughing. But just completely the wrong key. I also rarely can sing low in auditions anyway, because I think adrenaline makes me go higher. I can't get anything low out. I'm like,
Definitely. I feel like, because you go in like, hello, and it's all up here, and like, how are you? I'm gonna sing this, and then I know. I literally hate that.
With contemporary stuff, like you'll do a big belting, and then they'll go, okay, anything legit? I'm like, okay, and I try to sing legit, and I'm like, just been belting for like 2 minutes. Sometimes they do that, like they do that a lot in Wicked. When you do like Defying Gravity, then they go, okay, now I'm not that girl. I'm like, I'm not that girl. I can't get down there.
And last one in that game was, would you rather, never have I ever, would you rather spend 2 hours in a waiting room or be 10 minutes late?
Oh, that's a hard one. I hate being in a waiting room too. I tend to try and get there 5 minutes early. That's it. Okay. I like freak myself out looking at everybody and go, oh well, she's got it. I don't like seeing other people, but I also would hate to be late because I'd be stressed. I'd rather be early than late.
That was a horrible one. Sorry. I'm not going to make you do it, obviously. So we've got to talk about a little TV show you did recently. I don't know if people have heard of it, but it's The Voice.
I am a celebrity these days.
Major. I remember seeing you at an audition straight after it, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's the famous guy. It was literally the week after. I was like, I was watching you on my TV. Now I did All Together now a couple of years ago, and whenever I watch now, like Little Mix, The Search, or The Voice, and I see anyone on there that I know, I cannot tell you the anxiety I had watching you, like waiting for you to come on. So first of all, you were at the start of the episode.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen the beginning, so I watched the whole episode, like, Mum, Dad, Blue's on next. I was so nervous for you because I don't know if you had the same experience, but although the BBC were wonderful, I don't have the nerves for competitions. I feel like in my head, I think I'm quite competitive, with games. Let's call Monopoly, competitive. If I was playing sports, terrible at sports, but I was saying this yesterday, I've got a competitive streak. TV competitions, I cannot hack it. So I just wondered what your experience was. Obviously, you've had so many auditions for theatre, but what was your experience like being on The Voice?
Yeah, I'm not usually a nervous person. I'm not that nervous. It's generally in life. I'm not, I don't get too nervous for auditions, but for that, I've never been more nervous. It was a feeling like no other.
Yes.
And because I think it's like the big build-up of it for weeks and weeks. I mean, you're going through auditions before that first audition in front of the judges. You're actually going through auditions for about 6 months prior. There's like meetings with producers, phone interviews with researchers. Then you've got about 3 different rounds in front of the producers. And
I think that's really interesting to talk about, actually, because I think a lot of people think with the X Factor and with The Voice, it's like that one chance, you queue up outside and then you go in front of the judges on TV, but you've done, like you say, 6 months. And also, I don't know if it's the same for you, but song choices, I had to get them approved and lyrics checked and things like that.
Well, I don't think I'll get in trouble for saying this, but I won't. But you don't on that show, I had no choice what I was singing, and I would never in a million years have ever chosen the song that I sang ever. I actually can't listen to that first audition because I hate it so much.
Really?
Yeah, it's just for me. It's not how I think I sound, but like it's just not. Yeah, I would never have chosen that voice. I would never have chosen that song, and I don't think it shows off anything nice about my voice. So I was even more nervous because it wasn't like I was going on stage.
Wow, yeah.
I wasn't comfortable in what I was singing at all. I didn't know the song before.
Wow.
And it was sort of like, no, this is the song that you're singing. So
do you think that was because they heard you sing and they thought, powerhouse, she's got amazing, like, massive voice, she could pull this off?
I think they definitely, well, they're making a TV show and they need people of all different types to fit in. And I definitely was the rock girl. Even though I auditioned with Steve, like when I was singing for them in my other, my previous auditions, I was singing Stevie Wonder, Adele, like more of like a, soul-y.
Yeah.
I have a foghorn loud voice.
No,
but
you've got an amazing voice. I think because you are, like I said, all the shows you've done, you are versatile. You could do the legit, you can beautifully do all the soul, the disco, and you've got a really powerful voice. And that's what I think they've picked up on. They
were just sort of, I was always the rock, rock girl, which is, everything, I'm so happy to have been on the show anyway. So I'm grateful for completely grateful for the experience. I just wish that I do wish about that program is that, I got to sing on ITV for 2 weeks. That's like the biggest exposure I'm ever going to have. Well, who knows, but most probably the biggest exposure I'm ever going to have in my life. And I just wish I wish that you had a choice in what you were singing. Definitely. That's the only trouble I have with those competitions. And I think it's the same on all of the other competitions as well, like the All Together Now or the X Factors. Maybe some people have a choice in the first round, but I mean, even later on in the competition, like The Voice, your second round, they spring it on you. They go, "We've chosen this for you."
It's really, it is interesting because I used to watch these shows and think they were real, like, oh, that person, like Will Young was the last person of the day to be seen, or Leona Lewis was the receptionist that's never sung before. You really buy into that as a reality because you want to, because then you feel like, oh, then anybody can do it, and I think that's a really interesting point that you've said that. I mean, I thought you were amazing, but yourself, there is a preference of genre that you'd like to sing when you're going to be on national TV. I understand that.
Yeah, or we love music. We've been around, been around music all your life. I've been around music all my life. I would think I've got quite good taste in music, being around my parents and stuff. So I would never. Just those 2 songs that I was given, I just would never choose them. I would prefer to choose something really different and amazing and something that suited me better. Yeah. But at the same time, I am grateful for the experience, and so many people didn't even get the chance to do it. So I really am grateful. That's the only bad thing is I wish you had more choice in what you sang for your time on telly.
Definitely. But song choice aside, I remember you saying you had a great time. You were Team Ollie, and you had a fab time. Yeah. And I think what's great about these TV shows are the footage that you get afterwards as well, if you need it for show reel or something like that.
It's a great experience. For me, it was really, like, the team were lovely. ITV were incredible. Everyone on the team was lovely. It was a really happy experience, really well looked after.
Would you do any other singing competitions?
I don't know. I mean, I suppose if there was like a musical theatre-y, kind of one of those like, search for Nancy kind of things again, I wouldn't say no to that. That's my little moan. Sorry.
No. I think it's real. This is what this podcast is about. It's real. It's celebrating the good, the bad, and the hilarious. It's not like, so it's really easy to be in the industry, and all the auditions are wonderful. And because I think it's a really, especially with, everybody's mental health and things that are going on in people's personal lives, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes with auditions. But it's good to talk about it so that people don't feel like, oh God, it's, am I the only person that
not at all
did badly in an audition, or, didn't like a song choice or something like that. I think it's really good to talk about. I just want to go on to another little game section called rituals. And this is like anything that you have, any rituals that you have, any superstitions you have before an audition or after an audition. I don't know about you. I don't know if you have any. My thing is that I have to call my mum straight up.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have to. She won't tell me off. But I mean, as in my brain goes, call your mum, call your mum, call your mum.
Yeah.
So do you have a go-to song for an audition? I think we've established you've got like a few, but do you have like one song that you're like, that's mine?
Usually, if it's a pop rock, it's usually an "I Have Nothing" Whitney Houston.
Oh my God.
Or sometimes it goes through an open arms journey. I do like that one.
Amazing.
They're probably my pop rock things. Actually, them two are used for so much. Yeah.
I had to do I Have Nothing at a cruise audition once, and I started like, share my love, and I thought, oh my God, where do I go from here? It was so loud. And then I was going to, I don't really need to look, and it was so loud. By the time I got to the chorus, I thought, I'm gonna have to do something. I was supposed to build, so I was like, there's nowhere to hide. Like the hide was really loud, and then I went, oh, let me close
Reese, what's
my
I know I tend to not do the key change. I stop after the first verse, but I had to take out. There's a pause at the very beginning. You know, the intro comes in.
Oh yeah,
and it should be a 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, and then you go in. But every time, like me and the pianist just could not get it together. So now I took off the pause, and now
it's just dun 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 dun, share.
Yeah, just going, because the 6 was not happening.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3,
and then it's coming up like share my. Yeah.
So do you have like a caller afterwards? Do you have somebody that you can call?
I always call my mum like you before, and she always says the same thing to me, which she goes, sing out Louise.
Oh, cute. Like from Gypsy.
She does it from Gypsy, and she says it to me, and I'll call her for about, the phone might be 5 seconds, like, I'm going in now, and then she'll go, sing out Louise. Okay, love you, bye. And that's the call.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's my favorite one. Yeah, I love that.
She does it. Even if she's watching a show, she'll just always text, sing out Louise.
That's so cute. Oh, I love that. That's brilliant. That's so
I
brilliant.
I don't do it as much anymore, but I got in this weird headspace of I had to tip every busker on the way to my audition, otherwise I wouldn't get a recall, and it was really costing me quite a lot of money.
That would have cost you a fortune in London. You're in Soho, if you were in Covent Garden.
I know. So I got out of that where I was like, okay, this is ridiculous because you're really poor right now.
Did it work ever?
I think so, but I don't know. I had to really stop myself because it's costing me like £15 to go.
Yeah, that's not very good. No, going forward. Imagine if you had like a week of auditions as well. Nightmare.
Yeah.
Are you a tell-all, or do you like to keep it quiet when you've got an audition?
Oh, I can't keep anything quiet. I'm a tell-all in every area of my life. If I have somebody writes to me on a dating site, I tell the whole family and like plan, where the wedding might be. I just can't keep anything in. Apart from other people's secrets, I'm very good at that. But me, I tell everyone everything.
I'm the same. I'm so open. I can't hide. We've talked a little. I was going to say, do you have like an audition personality when you go in? But it sounds like you're very similar to me, and you go in as you. And I think that's really important, though, to be authentic, because I think the panel can see through.
Yeah.
When you were on the panel, could you see like behaviors that you were like, oh my gosh, I can see straight through that, or things that you noticed that maybe helped you in your future audition?
No, you do really pick up on people's personalities, and also that thing about when people say they just really want you to be good. I honestly did feel that, like, you do really want everyone to come in and be great, and you are really I actually got told off it on the panel because I kept clapping at the end of people's songs. Because they do so good. I was like, and then Jason Capewell, the resident, was like, stop clapping. I was like, okay, sorry. But yeah, and also some people come in with a funny attitude, and you're like, ooh, that's a funny vibe you're giving off. So
wow.
yeah.
Do you think it helped that you'd played the role before? Do you think you knew what you were looking for? Do you think that's important for there to be someone on the panel that had maybe been in the show, or did you think that was just a nice advantage for you to have?
Yeah, no, I think it helps because you know the whole show inside out, and you can kind of see it. But I didn't have any opinion. I just was there to read in.
Do you have any post or pre-audition rituals that you like have to do or not do beforehand?
I don't think so, but if I'm feeling the busker. I think if I'm feeling a bit rubbish about it, I usually do go buy like a cake.
Treat yourself.
Yeah, and this is a little bit naughty, but if it's like something that I really want and I'm really close to getting it, and I can feel myself getting a little bit anxious in the morning, I shouldn't say this, but I might have like a little cocktail in a can.
Oh, lovely.
A little G&T in a can en route. Well, not on the tube because it's illegal, but a little G&T, and then I might, be a bit more whoop, whoop.
Okay, and last one. Before an audition, do you research or watch the show before, or are you kind of like you're doing so many that you don't have time to do that?
Oh no, I do try and do all my. I do. Actually, I always have the mentality of fail to prepare, then prepare to fail. Mm-hmm. So if you don't, I do like to do a lot of preparing, and I just think that it's a real important part of the job. So yeah, and I do like to learn. I'm quite lucky. I do learn lines quite easily. I don't know if it's like I find learning lines, I'm able to learn them quite quick. So I do like to learn as much of it as I can.
Yeah.
So that I can just be more. I know you don't have to learn it, but I think if the director's going to give you notes, it's a lot easier to take on those notes if you already know the script, and so I do try and work as much as I can before an audition, and I might watch the film or and also do a bit of research about the panel, like that they're like what shows they've done. And,
that's good advice. Just
don't want to be caught out, on anything. And I do, and I enjoy it. I enjoy, doing the homework of it anyway. But I would do as much work as you can, because you just don't want to feel. I've had auditions in the past where I've not been prepared and they've not gone well, and I just knew that if I'd just prepared more, it would have been so much better. So you can only if I don't want to come out and blame myself for not working hard.
Yes, I think that's a really good point. I think as long as you can come out and go, oh, well, I did everything I could, then you can't beat yourself up, because I feel the same. I am over prepared, and I shut myself away before the audition and learn and learn and learn. And then I get there and I'm because I'm so scared of, it's not the singing and it's not the acting, it's the remembering what you have to do, I think, that stresses me out. So especially if it's a monologue or something like that, or a song that I've had to learn and prep for, so I have to go over it 5 times in the morning and then 10 times the night before, and that kind of
I find the scene's so difficult, because you're just with a reader that you have no idea how they're going to play the scene, and you don't know where they're going to be in the room. Are they sitting down? Are they near you? Oh, should I move? I think that's really I'm really comfortable in the singing, but when we get to the scenes, and that's my part that I do have to really work hard on, because I just find it not as natural as singing. And also you're sort of naked, you've got no props, you've got no, I do find that the scene work, that can be, hard, because it's just all sprung on you in the moment. Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think if you can learn the script as much as you can, I actually have a little trick that I do with my script.
Amazing.
It's probably, I suppose a lot of people do it, but I do a voice note, and I voice note myself saying the other lines in the scene.
Yes.
Yeah, and I leave a gap for when I'm meant to speak, and then I can play that continuously in my ears, just walking around town, and I'm hearing the scene as I'm walking around and filling my lines when there's, you know what I mean? So you get used to hearing what's coming before, and
that is a really good idea, walking around town and listening to it. And I guess as well, you get more of a natural reaction, because you're just responding to what you're hearing, rather than, oh, there's that line, cover right, whatever we used to do at school. That's a top tip. That's a blue, what should we call them? A blue
bonus.
Blues bonus tip. Bonanza tip. So before we wrap the episode up, and I ask you to do our outro, which is just thanks, that's all for today, I would love to know if you have any favorite stories, whether they're horror or funny or proudest stories, anything that you would like to speak about, obviously anonymously.
Bad audition stories, that kind of thing.
Whatever, bad or good.
Do you know what I think? I think I used to enjoy auditions a lot more when I first graduated, like when I was younger, because I was just so, I feel like I was much more confident then, because you're just not aware of everything around you, and so those auditions were really fun. I had an audition. Actually, it was my friend's audition. There was a girl in before her at the American church singing "As Long as He Needs Me" at the very end. She went, "As long as he needs me," and as she sang "me," she fainted and like fell forward and bust her nose.
Oh my God! Oh,
Yeah.
poor girl.
So like, sorry everybody, just gonna hold on here. So that was pretty tragic.
Wow. So talking of something going wrong, have you ever like been in an audition where something's gone wrong and you've just had to improvise?
I've had auditions where me and the pianist have just completely lost each other. That happened, and I was so gutted because I wanted the job so much. And unfortunately, me and the pianist just lost each other like big time.
What a shame. That is something you cannot practice. Although I have done an audition for a company called Physical that I worked with last year, and they used to give us, for the auditions, they'd give us time to run the song with the pianist.
That's really good.
Really great.
And it's absolutely not the pianist, like, the pianists do such an amazing job. Obviously, they're playing sight reading, it's ridiculous.
How do they do that, by the way? You just give them a song and they're like, oh, yeah,
I
that's
know.
Amazing.
But this audition I had last week, we had to upload our sheet music to Dropbox, because you weren't allowed to give actual sheet music.
Oh, of course.
So then the pianist, and I saw the pianist, she's a lovely lady called Louise, and I see her a lot in auditions, and I saw her in the toilet before, and I was like, oh, how are you doing? Like, how is it on with all this Dropbox thing? And we were saying, she was like, it's actually really great because I can see before the people come in what they're singing. So whilst the panel are chatting away or doing their discussions, she can get ready for the next person and like,
oh, that's brilliant.
Look at the cuts. And so she was saying it's actually probably like the new, like it's better.
Yeah.
That's come out of it. It's a better thing.
I'm following on from that. Do you prefer, as a singer, singing along to a backing track or having the pianist?
Oh,
it's hard, isn't it? Because there's nothing beats the live music and
I love live music, and sometimes with the backing track, if it's a bit funky, then you've got that awkward thing like, do I step dig? Do I not step dig?
Or sometimes the backing vocals.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. That's a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah, I do like it. I think I would prefer with the pianist. Actually, for Lizzie, which was a rock show that I did, which I loved. That was actually my favourite audition. I found it. Sorry, it took me a while.
It. No, it's fine.
But it was Anne Vosser, casting, who I also really love.
Yeah.
And we got to our first round. You walked in and you took your own rock song, which I took, Open Arms Journey.
Fabulous.
And in the room was a mic, a speaker, foldback speaker. You had a pianist and a guitarist. And was there there were two guitarists and a pianist. And they were just jammed to your first round song.
Wow.
Incredible. Yeah. They were just, so you would, and then and they wanted, because the whole show, if Lizzie was it's kind of like a rock concert, so they needed to make sure that you could work the mic and that you could sing in front of a band and that you could work it. So I just loved that. And you had the speaker, you had I just need reverb on my voice. I need effects.
Oh, don't you think it's so important? No, I mean, I don't think you do, but don't you think it's so important to be able to hear yourself though? I know that sounds silly because you can obviously hear yourself. When you hear it back with, extras added to it, and it spurs you on, doesn't it?
Yeah, and the mic just picks up so much more of your voice that you sometimes can't always hear in a room. Like, it just picks up lovely tone and low bits. And yeah, I don't understand why we don't audition more with mics, because we are mic'd on stage. And so that was an incredible audition because, we just felt like a gig, it was great.
Amazing. And before you go, have you got any advice at all for anybody who is either thinking of getting into the industry, or maybe is at drama school or training at the moment, or even just people who are still going in the industry in this crazy time and needing a bit of motivation? But have you got anything that you can kind of pass on?
I would just, a friend told me once, just really concentrate on work on what you're not good at, practice what you're not good at, because it's really, really easy and tempting to practice what you're good at, all the time. But it's, so if there's like the 3 skills, if there's one that's, lagging a little bit behind, just really try and work on that. And also just to know that there is a lot of negativity and there's a lot of knockbacks, but just to always know that, when the jobs actually come in, it is the best job in the world. Like to be, I feel so lucky, and obviously this year's really highlighted it when it's taken away from you, but to actually make a living and get paid for something that you love,
I know we're so lucky.
So lucky. So it just it is tough, and you've got to have a real thick skin, but just try not let it get too personal, because it is a business.
Definitely. That's such a good point. Oh my gosh, I feel like I've been in like a Blue TED Talk today. There's so many things that have spoken to me when you just said that, genuinely, that it is, don't take it personally, because it is a business.
And I also think with people at drama school, like I spoke to a drama school in lockdown and did a little chat, and I was just saying the fact that you're even already at drama school, like that's such an achievement. And not just an achievement in getting there, but an achievement in that you have chosen in your life to follow your passion. That's a huge achievement to acknowledge that, because a lot of people don't, and you might be driven more by money or by a security, and that's fine. If that's what they want to do, that's great. But the fact that you've listened to yourself and you're like, no, this is my dream, and you've got that fire and determination in you to probably leave your hometown and leave your family and leave your friends to go to a big city. You've got a real character about you.
Yeah.
You've got something inside you that's really good, and that's that you'll use that in whatever area in life you go into. But that's a huge character trait that you've chosen to follow your passion.
Definitely. I never thought of it like that, really, but that is so true.
But we don't think of it really, because we surround our friends that we surround ourselves with are all similar people. We've all left I'm from Bradford originally, and all our theatre friends, we've all left our hometowns, we've all left our families to follow a passion. And so that's why we have this solidarity and this, we're such a lovely community, because we're all like-minded. But that's huge if you think about it. We are all sacrificed huge things in our life to follow our dreams. So we're just in good company, basically. Definitely we are. It was so lovely to talk to you. Honestly, I could talk to you all day and look at your beautiful hair and face. But please, could you do my outro for me, because nobody needs me to say the title again. So all it is thanks, that's all for today. But I'll give you a little run up, so I won't just sit here and go on, Blue. But thanks everyone so much for listening. Blue, you've been an absolute babe. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. Honestly, I've been so entertained, and I've definitely made some notes, so thanks for the TED Talk. But all that's left to say is thanks, that's all for today.
Woohoo! Thanks, Angel.